What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a drive through downtown Durham. So let's go ahead and get the truck rolling. Speaking of trucks, there's a Cybertruck. Welcome to Durham. So Durham is a huge technology hub in the Triangle area. And so there's a ton of different technology companies in the area. But right now we're passing American Tobacco, which houses a ton of different offices and restaurants, and it's a mixed-use facility where you've got those offices. There's a YMCA down there, and you've got the gym in there. So it's a really awesome place if you have an office there, to be able to kind of walk to different restaurants and live, work, play. And when we take a left here, we're going to go past the Durham Bulls Athletic Stadium, the DBAP as it's known, where the Durham Bulls, which is a minor league team here in the area, they're the AAA affiliate for the Tampa Bay Rays. But one of the most fun things to do in our area is to go to a Durham Bulls game. Not sure I want to go to the game tonight when it's 106 degrees outside, but it's a really fun activity. Every Friday night that there's a Bulls game, they do fireworks for the kids. On Sundays, they let the kids run the bases. Just a lot of fun things to do. Pro tip about the Bulls game, though, if you don't want to sit inside the stadium and maybe you want some air conditioning, there's a restaurant called Tobacco Road, and you can actually go up to Tobacco Road and you'll be sitting on top of left field of the Durham Bulls Stadium, and you can actually watch the ball game from there, but have easy access to the restaurant and some air conditioning if it's too hot outside. So that's a fun thing to do in the summertime for sure. So we're going past American Tobacco again on our left over here, but this place just opened. I want to check this out. We're seeing a lot of these in our area right now. It's called State of Golf. But they have indoor golf and a bunch of different other sports simulators as well. So I'd be curious to check that out one day. And up here on the right is the Durham Performing Arts Center. So that's where all of the concerts and plays and all sorts of stuff happens in Durham. I've been to some really cool concerts there. I've seen some comedians there. I went to a Kenny G Christmas concert there one time, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, the DPAC is a beautiful facility, really nice inside. They've done a really great job with it, and very popular place to go.
I wonder what show's coming on now. Didn't they have like the Lion King recently?
Oh yeah, I think Lion King's coming.
That was like their big one for the year.
Yeah. Lion King. I'm trying to remember which comedian I saw there. I think I saw Nate Bargatze. I think is who I saw there.
I think this place has changed a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
These
100%.
apartments coming up over here.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to quite go this way. We'll try to shoot back around. But we're coming up on Roxborough Street, and kind of down to the right on Roxborough Street in Mangum is this huge new apartments, 555 Mangum. And yeah, so there's a ton of apartments over there. And it's actually been really nice for downtown Durham to have that, because now people truly can work and live and play in downtown Durham, and that wasn't always a possibility, especially prior to those coming online. That was a really big get for downtown Durham, but they're definitely luxury style apartments, and we're seeing a lot of that going on in downtown Durham right now. The quote luxury apartments, we'll go past it, but there's a massive luxury condo building going up where there's like $4 million penthouses for sale.
Yeah, Durham always seemed to me like it's more like one big city, and Raleigh was always
Yeah,
kind of like this section and this section, and
all chopped up.
yeah, you're not really getting from one to the other without Uber or
Yeah,
biking.
That's a good observation for sure. It's very true. All right, so we're getting into some of the restaurants and stuff here in downtown Durham. Pie Pushers, really good pizza spot. But there's offices down here, restaurants, with the apartments coming online. You know, on a weekend night, this area is just hopping with people. Especially if there's a Bulls game and a concert going on. I mean, it's like really crazy around here. But very cool. So, kind of hard to see. Point it out, but over there, Pizzeria Toro, that's one of my favorite places in Durham. And this place, Viceroy, this is like it's Indian food, but it's like London-based, English-based.
English-based London or Indian food.
Yeah, a little confusing, but very good.
Yeah, and there's Google over there.
Yeah, Google has a major hub here. That was a big deal. Bull McCabe's super popular bar in the area. But yeah, having Google have their office down here was big. What I understand too is that like if you work for Google, I think they have some return to office mandates. I think some people have like permanent work from home opportunities, but I think that if you live here and you've got to return to the office, that's where you're going at least 3 days a week.
Well, and Facebook is still scheduled to come to Durham. That would be big too.
All right, so we're passing West End. So there's more, kind of hard to see, but this is an old historic building that was renovated into, again, luxury apartments, but there's also restaurants and some offices in there and some different bars. It's a pretty cool spot in there. Dram and Drought. There's like one of those in every city now. We'll go over to 9th Street.
Durham has a lot more, like, it used to be very industrial, which is why you see all the brick buildings and...
Well, yeah, it was American Tobacco was literally a tobacco facility.
Right.
That they turned into office and restaurants, which is pretty incredible. But yeah, I think a lot of people forget that North Carolina was like home to the tobacco industry for so long. And Durham played a huge part in that, and so did Winston-Salem.
Yeah. But I think it kind of gives a kind of character, a lot more character than even Raleigh, just because it's so many like converted buildings and stuff.
Yep.
Which reminds me a lot of like New York or Chicago, where they have such a history.
Yeah.
And then they convert their buildings just because that's what they have.
But it feels a little more accessible, I would say, than, in some ways, I think, at least, Durham feels a little more accessible than Raleigh does.
Yeah.
So, hard to see right here. But over here, this is One City Center. This is the Novus. I'm sorry. The Novus. This is where they have some of those $1 million condos going up. So there's office, apartment, and then condos as well. It's a pretty massive building there. Rooftop terrace. I mean, look at that thing. It is incredible.
It's gonna be pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, imagine this area where we are. This is like the 5 Points area, quote, for downtown Durham right here.
Right.
Yeah, this is gonna be just crazy.
But it's all like in Raleigh. I mean, it's kind of like the living areas are all spread around the
Yeah.
outside of Raleigh.
Yeah.
Where Durham, it's much more compact,
Yep.
and they don't really have towns. You know, we often talk about Cary and Morrisville, and
Right.
Apex, and all those, and Durham is just kind of Durham.
Yeah. So there's one city center where WeWork is, and then this is really cool. This is the C21 or 21C. I don't remember which one is first, but maybe it's 21C hotel. And so that's a hotel where they have it's like a art-based hotel, so it's super cool. Like everything is art themed. There's a art museum on like the second and third floor. There's a nice cool bar restaurant area on the first floor. I've never stayed there, but I've gone for dinner and gone to see the art museum. It's super cool. So I wanted to be sure that we pointed that out. It's a pretty cool place to head. All right, so
Yeah, and the food scene here, I think in Durham is probably better than
by far,
probably the best in the area.
yeah. If I'm
So-
choosing a food scene, I'm choosing Durham
Right.
for sure. Without a doubt. All right, so let's go up here. There's the Google office that we were just talking about. Pretty massive. And then passing some more office, some old warehouse restored into office. And like we talked about on some of our videos before, Duke University, and specifically the Duke Hospital, is like the biggest employer in the Triangle area. And, so we've got a ton of different offices, all spread throughout Durham, downtown Durham.
And the main campus is only like 4 or 5 minutes
Yeah,
drive from
Super.
downtown.
super easy to get to.
So I noticed when we come here to eat, you can always see like the university students, international students
Yeah.
coming in.
So now we're passing the old Durham Bulls Stadium, the original, before they moved to the new one there. And they do some cool events here. They'll play some baseball games still, and they'll have, I think they even have a beer event there. And they do all sorts of cool stuff over there. But as you see, more luxury apartments coming on up.
Do they even make non-luxury apartments anymore?
I don't know. How do you define luxury? What is luxury?
I think it just means we get to charge you more money.
Does it just mean that we put granite in, so now it's luxury?
I don't know. Do they do granite anymore? Or is it all
I don't know.
quartz and
I don't know. I doubt they
what's
do
more
quartz.
expensive?
Quartz is more
Expensive now?
Yeah. But I think granite lasts it's less maintenance, I should say. So I feel like in
Right.
apartments they're probably doing granite.
Right.
Hutchins Garage is super cool back there. I wanted to show you guys that. But I'll come down here,
All right.
go around. So now we're getting into some of the residential area, but it's a little different than Raleigh, kind of like we talked about. Like downtown Durham is like downtown Durham, and then housing is like spread around it, not necessarily in it. But one of the biggest issues that Durham has, and I mean, obviously all of the triangle has is affordable housing. But something that Durham City Council has done that's interesting is, and we see a lot of it in and around the downtown area, is we'll see if we see any, but they allow you to build on these, like they'll let you take a normal size lot and then build 2 or 3 tiny houses, basically. It's up to like 1,200 square feet on a lot, so that you can create more density. It's kind of interesting, but I mean, 1,200 square feet is a small house, but it also comes at a more affordable price point. So Durham City Council has definitely relaxed their zoning more than any other town in the Triangle has, to help with trying to get more density in Durham and create more affordable housing. All right, so we're gonna go up here. I just wanted to point out there's Cocoa Cinnamon, which is an awesome coffee shop. But let me go down here. So it's hard to believe, Full Steam right here on the left. This was like the Triangle's first craft brewery, first big one, I should say, not the first one, but first big one in like 2011, 2012 time frame. And that was like first time people started getting into craft beer, and it like blew up and became super popular. But like all of this, none of this was here. I mean, this is all of that we see right now, all these apartments and everything. This was all done in the last 3 to 5 years is probably a safe number to say. This was all kind of like this building. It was all like one level industrial, and Full Steam was just kind of tucked back here in the back. They had a run club, and now it's just a completely different area than it was just 12 years ago. It's hard to believe. Skate park, you want to go skating?
And we could. I think I'm okay though. I like not breaking my bones. Well, that's like Central Park down there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool area.
There you go. That's more. There's condos in there and apartments. We are seeing, for whatever reason, I'm not sure I can give an exact reason why, we're seeing more condos, like true condo buildings being built in Durham than we are in Raleigh. And I'm like, the big stuff, the high tall towers, penthouse condos. I mean, to see a $4 million, I just saw it went under contract, a $4 million condo penthouse in downtown Durham. I mean, I'm not sure why we're not seeing more of that in the Raleigh area, but there's like none of that being built in Raleigh right now. It's all being built here in Durham, which is interesting.
And then like it's more of like the buildings we saw up front. Like when we first started is kind of what's being built in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Kind of apartments,
Just
nothing for sale.
Yeah, all apartments, nothing for sale. But there's a lot more for sale. And it's interesting too, because the buildings that are for sale, they're not all for sale. It's like a mix. It's a mix of apartments and for sale. I mean, I know for the developers, getting the financing on that is tough, but it's interesting that they've been able to secure it here in Durham. Nobody's looked at doing that in the Raleigh area for quite a while that I know of. So,
are the developers different in Raleigh? Like, I know a lot of Raleigh is Kane Realty.
yeah, there's a lot of different national guys.
maybe Durham's making it more popular, or their approval with it, or.
So this is Durham School of the Arts. It's a great high school in the area. All right, let's see if we can't get over to 9th Street. So I guess this is like the only... I don't know if people consider 9th Street part of downtown Durham or not. I mean, I kind of think it is, but I guess to the earlier point that we were making, like, it is a little bit further outside downtown than everything else that we just went through, which I mean is similar to Raleigh. You know, like Glenwood and Fayetteville Street are not exactly like right next to each other, right? Like, it's a bit of a distance to get there.
It's always interesting to me, like, Durham just seems to be completely surrounded by houses.
Yeah.
Like, just completely. We're definitely in Raleigh, it's much more pocketed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more development happening, but, you know, you think, you know, once you hit outside of Durham, it's just house.
Yeah, which is totally different than Raleigh. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, you have like Oakwood. There's kind of like a few houses around, but and then you got stores and restaurants and maybe some more houses. And this is...
Yeah, like you could actually walk from one of these houses. I mean, you could do that in Boylan Heights and in
Right.
Oakwood.
Right.
It's not... It's relatively similar.
Yeah. But you just think, like, between Boylan Heights and downtown Raleigh, there's this big... kind of feels like empty space, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah. The warehouse district might change that to a degree, but it's
Right.
still an evolution.
Right.
But this is
Duke?
Yeah, we're getting up on Duke University.
Yeah,
I mean, campus is massive.
it is. It's a huge campus. Very beautiful campus.
It's incredible. And like, if anybody ever has a chance to go see a basketball game at Duke, you should
Do
go.
it.
It's a once in a lifetime experience.
I mean, you gotta say NC State has the most modern stadium, considering it's an NHL professional stadium as well, but it's kind of charming, you know,
no. Going to a Duke game is a completely different vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it takes it back, but it's very, very cool.
Right. And if you're one of those people who want to, like, tour university campuses, then Duke is the one to tour, because it's definitely the best of the big three.
Yeah, totally. And in my world, I'm ABC, anybody but Carolina, so I'll pull for Duke all day. Do you know how to spot a Duke student?
No.
It's easy, they'll tell you.
Yeah, the other one was, do you know who cares about getting a degree from Carolina?
Yeah.
Other people with degrees from Carolina.
But yeah, this is campus right here. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's definitely the heartbeat of Durham. I mean, anybody who's from Durham or lives in Durham automatically becomes a Duke fan. I'm sure there's a few State and Carolina fans mixed in, but the majority of people who live here are Duke fans. That is the best thing about the Triangle, though, is like, even people who move here and they've only been here for a year, like, you don't really get it till you move here, and then you're like, oh man, I have to choose one. I gotta choose Duke, State, or Carolina, because this is such an intense rivalry. So this is the kind of other section of downtown I wanted to point out. Again, some people might say, oh, it's not downtown. But I think it kind of is. It's more of, I guess it's more of like a midtown or uptown, whatever you want to call it. But it's a second downtown to me. But this is 9th Street in Durham. This is super popular with the students, but also other people in Durham. Tons of different restaurants here, and all sorts of different types of retail. Pretty massive shopping center and apartments over here to the left. You've got a Harris Teeter. So very kind of cool area. This sushi place, Juju, is awesome. And then Vin Rouge is an awesome place. It's like a French steakhouse. Some steak frites. Almost Diner is like a classic in the Durham area. So that was just a quick drive on 9th Street. But again, some people might say, oh, it's not downtown, but I kind of think that it is. So,
I mean, it's kind of like if you were in Cary or Apex, like their little downtown.
yeah.
But again, it's Durham. Like there is Durham.
And like if we had gone the other way, if we had turned left instead of right, we would have hit the hospital in like 2 minutes. So that just shows you how close it all is. There's Mo Nuts. All right, should we head to Duke Forest?
Yeah. So that's kind of the other thing that's kind of interesting in Durham is everything's really close together and yet also far apart.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we were saying, like the downtown is all like packed in. But then once you get out of downtown, it does start to spread out quite a bit.
And yet there's no like major towns or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all kind of Durham.
So if you're looking for some of the smartest students in the state, you can go right there to the North Carolina School of Science and Math. I mean, it's like they bring students from all over the entire state of North Carolina to go there. It's incredibly difficult to get into. Super popular. But there are some very, very smart kids going to school there.
Oh yeah.
I need some road paving in Durham.
I mean, it's just kind of North Carolina in general.
Yeah.
It's something that we have. I'll look it up later, but I'm sure we have. It's like some of the most roads of any state, despite not being one of the biggest. You know.
Well, you know, we spend the most time in our cars, right?
Oh yeah.
Just learned that.
It's really interesting, like the variety of sizes of these houses, where some of them are obviously kind of small and some of them are much larger.
Yeah, there's definitely a wide mix of housing types throughout Durham. That is for sure. Definitely good to see a wide mix of age, and there's a sweet mid-century modern.
Oh yeah, that looks like
cool.
older mid-century modern.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, it's probably in the 50s.
And Durham is a little more affordable than Wake County. And just in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy though, because Durham pricing all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. But its location is pretty nice because it's easy access to get to Chapel Hill if you needed to. There's some very popular schools in Durham. So
RTP isn't far away.
yeah, easy to get there.
Yeah.
But we're seeing so much more development, office development in downtown Durham too.
One, and it always seems to me, in general, you know, people who are, you know, don't have kids often prefer Durham. People with children often prefer Wake County. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on, like, if you want to live downtown in Raleigh, yeah, it's hard to say, like which one is going to crimp you up, which downtown's going to crimp you up in an apartment more,
Right.
All right, hold on. Oh,
We're good. It's fine. That's why we got the double suction cup on that one.
not the cheap one.
That's why we paid extra money. When you ride a motorcycle, you tend to realize how much pressure wind can put on you.
That's right. All right, so I don't know if we said yet, but we're going over to Duke Forest. Awesome neighborhood, a legit forest, hiking trails.
Yeah, that's kind of the big, I guess, nature
Yeah,
in Durham is like the Eno River.
River. Yep.
Yeah, they have some cool boating and hiking.
And Duke Forest, and then I mean, you can even be in Durham and be in Homestead too, which is crazy.
Right.
Get out here. Who do you think has worse traffic, Durham or Raleigh?
Well, I mean, here I live in Raleigh, and I think, how to say it, like local traffic. I think it's just kind of a mixed beans, maybe, or mixed bag. I don't know how to say that, but if you're trying to go somewhere, Durham always has worse traffic for me. Whenever I come in, it's always worse.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It depends on where you're at. Like, last week I was coming from Chapel Hill back home to Raleigh at like 5. And it took me like an hour and a half to get home. And like 45 minutes of that was in Durham. But I was on the highway. So, I mean, if you live in Durham, you might not necessarily have to do that and spend that time there.
Right.
But like, I even got off, like, Waze had me get off and go on some side streets, and like, even that was like, it was brutal.
Yeah. I find like anywhere around UNC campus, the main road, and 15501,
Yeah.
they're horrendous traffic.
Yeah.
Where, in Raleigh, the big ones are like 440, Capitol. And Capitol's not really that bad until you kind of get into Wake Forest, and then it gets pretty. Luckily, I'm always going the wrong direction, so I get to see the people stopped.
Well, then you've got roads in Raleigh like Falls of the News, which are like the lanes, for whatever reason, are like the most narrow lanes in the country.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, right? They just painted the lanes narrow, and they're still with like the minimum requirement for a lane to be.
They're definitely the minimum. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and everyone wants to drive these huge trucks now, and they just don't fit.
Are you calling truck guys out? Nothing wrong with a good truck. It's the South.
It's the South. I mean, you got to have, your truck for the one time a year you go to the dump.
I went to the dump this weekend, I'll have you know.
All right. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of crazy. You think with Durham all packed in, and now we're here, and there's, forest everywhere. Big land. And so it's kind of that. It's kind of interesting.
Well, and this is like, we're in like the heart of campus right now, so
Right.
like hard to see. You can't see it through the trees over there, but just to the left is where the football stadium is, and Cameron Indoor Arena is.
Right.
So like, I mean, this is like the heart of campus that we're in right now. Just
Right.
have a little soccer camp going on. Hot day for that.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Brutal. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were saying earlier, right? Like, this is one of the most beautiful campuses in the entire country for a school.
Right.
We just passed too back there the Washington Duke Inn, which is the Duke Hotel, and man, what a place! It's awesome. All right, so
This is like the neighborhood
yeah,
just outside of
Duke.
Duke. Yeah, Duke.
Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Trees everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting is, you know, once you get into these like little neighborhoods,
Mhm.
I guess you would say, is they definitely are. I don't know, like I guess just used to Wake County where, you know, you start getting into like a different town, but
Right.
there isn't that. It's all just Durham, and you have, you know, just seems more spread out.
Yeah.
As well as like with NC State's campus, it's right in the middle and not as many trees hiding it all in here. You have
Right.
like proper neighborhoods right next to the campus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting when you think about that. Like, you can like be across the Raleigh Cary line. Like, you can go past campus and just, you know, 5-10 minutes outside of State's campus, you can be in Cary. Durham, like, once you're in Durham, you're in Durham.
Right.
It's the only place to be. So it kind of continues the vibe that it has kind of all throughout.
Right. And you kind of, you know, you talk about Chapel Hill as kind of like close to Durham, but it's in another county. So it has a whole different school
Right.
curriculum. It has a whole different,
Yep.
you know,
Everything.
courts and blah, you know,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So.
All right, guys. Well, we hope this drive through Durham and specifically downtown Durham was really helpful, gives you a better understanding of the area. If you want to learn more about downtown Raleigh, watch our video on that here. And if you're thinking of moving to the Raleigh area in the next 9 to 90 days, let us know. Our team would love to help you with that consideration, answer any questions you may have, or get your search for a home started. So reach out to us today. Contact info is below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.